And here are other discussions in diplomatic circles. Heads of state of Shanghai Cooperation Organization member and observer countries attended a banquet and gala hosted by Chinese President Xi Jinping in the Chinese eastern port city of Qingdao. Jointly led by Russia and China, the SCO was launched in 2001 to combat radical Islam and other security concerns in their own countries and across Central Asia. The bloc also includes India, Pakistan, and the 4 Soviet Central Asian republics. Delegates this year include Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Summit leaders discussed regional security. Iran, Russia, and Kazakhstan's presidents have vowed to fully implement the Iran nuclear deal. The 3 leaders made their stance at the plenary session of the 18th meeting of the Council of Heads of Member States of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Qingdao. The JCPOA, otherwise known as the Iran nuclear deal, is an international agreement reached in Vienna on July 14, 2015, between Iran, the P5+1, and the European Union. It is officially recognized by the UN Security Council. Iran says UN members should obligate to Resolution 2231, reached on July 10, 2015, as well as Article 25 of the UN Charter. Namely, members of the United Nations agree to accept and carry out the decisions of the Security Council in accordance with the present Charter. Iran's President Hassan Rouhani says in order for Iran to continue to participate in the nuclear deal, it has offered limited opportunity to the remaining JCPOA participants and other UN member states to present practical guarantee of the implementation of the nuclear deal. On May 8th, US President Donald Trump announced the US decision to withdraw from the JCPOA, triggering widespread opposition among countries. Russia says it is concerned by what has happened, but is in favor of consistent and unconditional implementation of JCPOA, while Kazakhstan says it supports the JCPOA and will stay committed to it. Countries along a new Balkan migrant route have pledged to work together to prevent a repeat of the 2015 influx that brought more than 1 million refugees into Europe from North Africa and the Middle East. Security and police officials from the region met in Bosnia to discuss their response to growing traffic along a new smuggling route from Greece through Albania, Montenegro, and Bosnia to Croatia and Western Europe. More than 5,500 refugees and migrants from Asia and North Africa have entered Bosnia this year using the route. The Balkan country was spared the migrant wave of 2015, but it now finds itself struggling to accommodate thousands of people who are trying to reach wealthier EU countries.
We have
to start implementing measures, and we have to do it now, while the situation is still under control. Because if it gets out of control, we will be faced with a big problem. All of us, and especially the people who are on that migration route. This is why we are calling for action now. We have to act now and implement these measures.
There's been a discussion for the past 3 years whether there should be certain centers for the migration into the member states of the European Union, certain portals, let's say, where the acceptance process, the asylum application process can take place. Also, the accommodation, and there it will be decided in which countries of the EU those people will go.
US President Donald Trump says he's asked US representatives not to endorse the joint communique put out by the G7 leaders after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's false statements at a news conference. Closing out the G7 meeting at a press conference, Mr. Trudeau said efforts at convincing the US president to turn around his approach on trade did not yield fruit. Therefore, Canada will move forward with retaliatory equivalent tariffs as of July 1st.
It would be with regret, but it would be with absolute certainty and firmness that we move forward with retaliatory measures on July 1st, applying equivalent tariffs to the ones that the Americans have unjustly applied to us. I have made it very clear to the President that it is not something we relish doing, but it is something that we absolutely will do.
After departing from the Quebec summit for Singapore, Trump tweeted the Trudeau's remarks at the news conference, where he had also said that Canada would not be pushed around, were very dishonest and weak. Trump tweeted, "Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada acted so meek and mild during our G7 meeting, only to give a news conference after I left saying that US tariffs were kind of insulting and he will not be pushed around. Very dishonest and weak. Our tariffs are in response to his of 270% on dairy." And finally, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un met with Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong at the Istana in Singapore on Sunday. He arrived early for the summit, with Trump holding on Tuesday. Earlier, the Singaporean Prime Minister revealed at a press conference that the cost of hosting the historic summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un would be around 20 million Singaporean dollars. Thanks for joining us this week. I'm sure it's been worth your while. Hopefully you'll join me again next time. I am Amarachi Ubani. Goodbye.